Welcome back to Reclaim the Spirit. This is Mark Heilshorn. I'm a pastor and a theologian, and I've been doing a number of podcasts on Buddhism. And I wanted to talk today more specifically about what is known as Path 6. Path 6 is all about what the Buddhists describe as right effort. Now, right effort is an attempt to live a wholesome life, a wholesome life with wholesome qualities. For example, one of them would be to earn a living without doing harm to others. Earn a living without doing harm to others. Another would be avoiding anything that has to do with greed or anger or ignorance. So let's take those piece by piece. so right effort, earning a living. Um, Now, we all earn livings in various forms. Some of us are salesmen, some of us are teachers, some of us are lawyers, some of us are doctors. Um, some of us are in the human services industry. Some of us are in the sales and marketing industry. Some of us are in the banking industry. Some of us are insurance. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to make a living depending upon your passions and the things that you enjoy doing. What the Buddhists would say would be make sure that that living doesn't compromise somebody else in the process. Mm. Without doing harm to others. That's a pretty wide berth, but I think what it really boils down to is if you're making a living off of somebody else and there's not a lot of integrity in it, or it's nefarious on some level, or taking advantage of others without really kind of being in kind with your gifts and your services, taking advantage of other people, stepping on other people. Um, that's a problem. And the Buddhists would say, look, make a living without trampling on the lives of others. In other words, to not leave to not leave the world in a worse place or leave your relationships in a worse place, but make a contribution to the lives of other people. And they're specific about the concept of greed and anger and ignorance. Greed. We all know what greed is. Greed is that feeling like you've just taken advantage of somebody else, or that you have knowingly stolen from them, or knowingly promised something that you cannot deliver on just to make the sale. Greed, the accumulation of things and wealth on the backs of other people. It's kind of like what the Egyptians used to do to the Israelites with slave labor, and what, of course, we in the Americas used to do with our African American slaves, where we used them to produce products and to produce a welfare that, in fact, was as disingenuous to them as human beings. There's greed around that. Now, you can redefine that, and you can look at that in 1,000 different ways, I suppose. But at the end of the day, it's wrong. It's wrong. And then there's this whole concept of anger. So a right effort would be to make sure that you're not getting angry with other people, and in the process, lashing out or being disruptive or diminutive or diminishing the rights of other people in the process. But anger is a really true emotion, but when used and wielded badly, it can be very destructive to the morale of the individual using it, unbeknownst to them, but also to the people around them, who are in the receptive end of it, who really have no reason to feel the blame or the wrath of your anger. So, and then there's this third thing of ignorance. Ignorance is sometimes a blind form of laziness. It's not even so blind as much as it is an intentional looking away from something that needs to be dealt with. or needs to be handled with love and sincerity and integrity. So the Buddhists are really after this concept of right effort, meaning that your efforts need to be pure, your efforts need to be genuine. You have to be generous with your thoughts. You need to have loving kindness in your hands and your wisdom and your mind and your heart. And you have to be wise, wise. Now, it's challenging, I suppose, in a culture when we're surrounded by the opposite of these loving kind of golden rule theologies. We see greed all over the place. We see greed on Wall Street. We see greed in politics. We see greed in the culture. It's almost advertised in black and white in our media that it's okay to be greedy. You know, I remember there was a movie a long time ago with where you know the actor says, "Greed is good." Greed is good, and I'm thinking, wow. Now that was a movie done in the '80s. Michael Douglas actually was the star of that movie. Greed is good. Of course, he's portraying a trader on Wall Street and basically saying, "Look, man, it's the money. It's all about the money. And it's all about the power and the authority that comes with it." And the Buddhists would say, "Yeah, no, that doesn't work." So, loving kindness. You know, what does it mean to be loving and kind, and to not generate a lot of anger around your activity? And then, of course, wisdom. I mean, be wise, be thoughtful, pause, take care of yourself, take care of your thoughts, think before you speak, love and have affection for the people that you're working with, as opposed to being ignorant of them, and really deceptively disruptive by treating them poorly. So this is what the Buddhists meant by right effort, and when you really kind of boil it down, it really just means to be a good human being, to be good and decent and forthright and courteous and conscientious and caring for the people around you, and making sure that your life reflects these high values. And they're not even so high as much as they are values to live by that you would want bestowed upon you. So, yeah. So right living. Saying right effort. I'm sorry. And I hope that this finds you well and that you're able to use some of these principles in your day today. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.